right. So I'm on the Oscar Platoon curriculum page. I'm going to navigate to 99 bottles. So I'm in week 1. Here we go. Week 1, day 1. So that was yesterday, the 24th. I scroll all the way down. So here are all your assignments for the day. And I'm going to click on 99 bottles for JavaScript. So notice how we have a 99 bottles JavaScript file and a 99 bottles Python file, because we are going to be doing this in Python as well. That's in the future, not today. So today we're just going to be doing it in JavaScript. So with that, let's kind of read through what they're asking us. So write a program that can print the song 99 bottles of beer. So if you notice, starts at 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around, 98 bottles of beer on the wall. And it does that repetitive all the way down until it gets down to 1 bottle of beer. So take one down, pass it around, 1 bottle. So it looks like we're going to have to account for plural, bottles versus bottle. And then also the last 3 words or 3 lines, or the 3 lines are different from all of them. So some considerations: take note of how bottles turns into bottle at the right time. You can certainly use a while loop, a for loop, or a for each loop, and various other built-in methods. So make your code able to take in and account for any bottle amount. So instead of hard coding 99 bottles, so technically I can just have console logs, have like 100 or 200 console logs, and that just console logs every single one of these. But we kind of also want to make it dynamic. So what if we only wanted to make a song that's like 10 bottles of beer or 5 bottles of beer or 1,000 bottles of beer? We want to be able to make it the function a little more dynamic. So you can also challenge yourself so it doesn't use any loops or iteration whatsoever. But I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to use probably a while loop for this one. But yeah. So let's go ahead and get this down on my local machine. So what is the first thing I need to do?
Got to fork it into your personal repo.
All right, so I need to fork it into my personal repo. Reno, how do I fork it over? How do I fork 99 bottles over to my GitHub account?
On your top right-hand screen right there, it says fork.
Okay.
Sign that code.
Click that. All right, so where should we fork 99 bottles? We can fork it to Tom Preet. So that's my personal GitHub. So it looks like it's loading, forking Oscar Platoon 99 bottles. And there we go. So now I'm located in Tom Preet 99 bottles. That's my personal GitHub. Right here, Tom Preet 99 bottles, forked from Oscar Platoon 99 bottles. So this is all the same. Tim, what's the next step? I forked it over to my personal GitHub. Now I need to get it down on my local machine. How do I go about getting this code down on my local machine?
Press the green button that says code.
All right, code. So I can clone it down, and literally it's just a link to this repo. So http github.com/tompreet/99bottles.git. So I can click this little clipboard. It says copied. Great. Now I need to clone it down. So I copied that. And now I'm going to navigate on my local machine wherever I want to clone this down. Let me zoom in a little bit. Is that good? Is that zoomed in enough? Can everyone see that? Perfect. Cool. So I'm going to CD into my desktop, CP challenges, Oscar challenges. Great. Now, if I wanted to list everything out in the Oscars challenges folder, what command should I type?
The ls.
ls, Jeremiah. Yep. So list everything out. Okay, cool. So I don't have anything in here, but say I want to open up this Oscars challenges in this VS Code window, because right now I don't have anything opened up in here. Does anybody know the command to open up this current folder within this VS Code window? It's okay if you don't, because I don't think we explicitly covered it. But
Are you talking about Command O?
no, so you know the code command that we kind of installed yesterday.
Oh, like git clone, and then you just copy the link.
Well, I need to do that, yes, but I want to open up first. I'm going to open up the Oscars challenges in the current VS Code window. So how I go about doing that is I'm typing code space -R period. And what that's going to do, it's going to open up the Oscars challenges folder within the current VS Code window. So there's currently nothing in there. Now I can go and clone down my 99 bottles. And John, what's the command to clone down 99 bottles?
You're going to use git clone and copy the repository that you already copied. Yes, that one.
Yep. So git clone followed by the link to my repository. I click enter. It's cloning into 99 bottles. I can see over here 99 bottles. The folder is in here. Now I can open up that folder. I can see I've got the 99 bottles JavaScript folder file as well as the Python file as well. Now, so I also have this README. And I think I have an extension where I can actually view the markdown in a different window, which is kind of nice. So I can kind of see what that looks like. But anyway, so let's go ahead and actually, okay, whatever. Write our code here. So I'm going to use a while loop. And initially they said in the README, so I'm going to actually split the window. Ooh, this is all new, updated. Cool. So I'm going to split the README into the right side window like so I can have both files open. And I'm going to close the Explorer just to give me a little bit more room. All right. And I'm going to close that just so I can see what I actually explicitly need to do. So make your code able to take in account any bottle amount. And I'm not going to do any pseudocoding right now. We're going to talk about pseudocoding later on, either this week or next week. But I'm just going to go ahead and kind of write the solution here. So here's one way I can write the function, but I want to use ES6 syntax. So I'm going to refactor this and use a fat arrow function. Does anybody know what the syntax is for a fat arrow function?
Equal sign and then greater than.
Okay, so yeah, like the equal sign open bracket or open angle bracket. So this is one way to write the function, but I'm going to use fat arrow functions, and we're going to cover that later as well. So I'm going to call it bottle song equals any parameters I'm going to pass in. So I'm going to use a number, this fat arrow function. So that's the same way as writing function bottle song number. These two ways, these two syntax are the exactly same. But this is ES6 syntax, and this is ES like 2015 syntax, or the older syntax. Either or works, but going forward, you're going to see me doing a lot of fat arrow functions.
Hey, Tom.
Yep.
Other than keeping with the current syntax, is there a benefit to using the fat arrow for function declarations?
Yes, there is, and we'll cover that once we get into React. It's essentially when we get into the context or the context of this, the keyword this. So it references like once we get into object-oriented programming, it'll make more sense. And once we get into React, the benefits of fat arrow functions, you'll see like what the benefit is from a syntactical perspective. But all right, so I'm going to write my code here. Whoop. Should I say, what does it say? Write your code here. That's kind of what it said. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to keep track of, so if this input is like 99 and I want to decrement from 99, 98, 97, I need to create a variable to hold the new 99, 98, 97. Why does it keep doing that? That's really annoying. Anyway, so first I'm going to create a variable called num bottles, not buttles, equals num. So this num, I'm reassigning it to a variable called num bottles. And if you've solved it a different way, that's totally okay. This isn't the right way. This is just one way to solve it. I'm pretty sure if I looked at everyone's solution, every single person probably solved it a little bit differently. This is just my solution. Your solution can be totally different, and that's totally okay. There's more than one right answer to this question. So I'm going to use a while loop. So I'm going to say, hey, while num bottles is greater than some value, I want it to print this, like this specific verse of the song. So let's just go ahead and do that, and let's just test it out. Let's just run our code after we do that. So while num bottles, what should it be greater than or equal to? Just
Greater than
1.
okay. So greater than or equal to 1. We'll start out there. If it doesn't work, if we might need to do some refactoring, that's okay. But let's just keep it there. So I'm going to run this code, or I want it to print this out. So I'm going to do print that, put that there. Oh, well, this is really annoying. Bracket pair settings cannot set property inside of undefined. I don't want it to do that anymore. Whatever. Okay. So I'm going to console log that. Yeah, so console log. And if you ever see me doing anything that like console log, and you want to see like how I'm writing to make things a little bit more efficient, just be like, hey, Tom, just like speak up, be like, hey, Tom, how did you copy that down or something like that? How did you do X, Y, Z? All right, so since I'm using a while loop and num bottles, if the initial value is 99, I'm passing 99 up here. I'm reassigning I'm assigning num bottles to 99. So right here on line 4, 99 is greater than or equal to 1. If I were to just execute this code, what would happen the way it is?
Oh, you're gonna get caught in an infinite loop. You got to decrement.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So I need to decrement. So I'm going to say I need to decrement num bottles by 1. So num bottles, I can say equals num bottles minus 1. So that's one way I can decrement. So let's go ahead and just run this code in the terminal. So I'm going to bring this up here so it's a little more visible. So how do I execute a JavaScript file in the terminal?
You type in node and then the file you're trying to run.
So node, and I want to run 99 bottles. So I just want to make sure I'm in the right directory. All right. Well, let's just run this like 99 bottles.js, and let's just see what happens. Okay, I got an error. Says internal module. I don't know what the hell this means. Cannot find module. Here's the path I'm looking at. CP challenges, Oscar challenges, 99bottles.js. Module not found. So it can't find the 99 bottles JS file inside the Oscar challenges. Does anybody know why?
Because you're
Is it
not in the
because you
folder
haven't
where
saved
that
your
file is.
file?
Well, one person.
Send to John.
Okay, so I asked the question, is it because you haven't saved your file? Because it looks like the color of your file name, I don't think you've saved it since you last written.
No, so one of my settings is if I navigate off of
Okay,
it
Okay.
automatically saves. So this just means it's been modified. It just has not been committed to my Git repo.
Tom, when you did your Git pull, I assume it automatically created a folder with all your files, so your files are one layer lower
Okay.
in your folder structure.
Yep, exactly. So I'm currently not in the right folder structure. So if you notice, I did ls here, and here's that 99 bottles directory. So I need to be inside the 99 bottles directory. So I need to cd. So I'm currently in Oscar's challenges. So I need to cd into this 99 bottles directory, and I can do 99. And I can either type it all out, or I can just press tab and it will auto complete that portion of it. All right, cool. Now if I'm going to clear the terminal, I'm going to list everything out just to make sure I'm in the right directory, and I can see this 99 bottles file in my current working directory. And there it is. So cool. So 99 bottles. Cool. Now I know I'm in the right directory. I can run that node 99 bottles. And if I didn't want to type out node 99 bottles again, is there a way I can bring up previous commands that I typed?
Yeah, you can just type in the up arrow.
Okay, so I'm going to type in up. So these are all the previous commands I did. Okay, there's my node 99 bottles JS file. So I can run that, and let's just see what happens. Whoa, sweet. So it looks like it worked. So it looks like it printed this 99 times. But I noticed that it just says 99 bottles. So it's not actually printing out 98, 97, 96, 95, blah, 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 all the way down. Cool. So I'm going to clear that. So now I want to somehow replace this 99, 99, 98 with this num bottles.
Start out with a
file.
backtick and go from there.
I'm sorry, say that down.
Change that to a backtick and go from there.
Awesome. So what does the backtick do? What does that allow us to do?
Let you put expressions in your string.
Perfect. Yep. So the backtick allows us to insert JavaScript expressions, variables inside of strings. So I can do that. And now I can do num bottles. Why is it? All right. Just gonna do this quickly. And down here, it's 99, but here I want it to be 98. So one less. So I can do num bottles -1. Whoa, right there. So let's just see that. Let's not do 99. Let's start with something a little bit less. Let's start with 10. So it doesn't have to actually print that much. Oh, I didn't do backticks here. That will throw me in and give me an error. There we go. So if I run that, so I get 10 bottles of beer on the wall, 10 bottles of beer all the way down, 1 bottles of beer. Okay. So let's see what we need. So it looks like down here, once it gets down to 1, take one down, 1 bottles of beer. So it looks like I need to do something there. And also, so go ahead.
I was gonna say you could change the argument by to 2 to where you could stop it, and then you do a separate I guess if I did an if statement to where you could account for bottles to bottle.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. I'm gonna do, instead of bottles, has anybody heard of A ternary operator or a ternary expression.
Where you do the question mark, and then you got on the left side of the ternary operator, you're gonna have the true statement, and then colon, and then the false statement.
Yep. So a ternary operator is essentially the same thing as an if statement, but it's all in a one line. So right here, so for bottle, I want it to print an S if num bottles is greater than 1. Otherwise, I don't want it to print anything. So I can do num bottles question mark. So if num bottles, if num bottles is greater than 1, question mark, have an S. Otherwise, colon, which is the or statement, or just have an empty string. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do 5 just so it doesn't print as many. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to run that again, and just to see if I can get that part to work when it hits 1, it has just bottle as a singular. All right. All right, cool. We have it there. So it looks like bottles is plural here. 1 bottle. Looks like I have to do the same thing there. All right. So let's pretty much do the same thing. Where does it say bottles? Right there, and replace that. And let's run that again. All right, 1 bottle of beer on the wall, 1 bottle. Oh, it's still doing it. Why did it?
Different place.
Oh, different place. Thank you. 1 bottle. There we go. Cool. So we got that portion of it. Now, what do we need to do? So we got 1 bottle of beer on the wall, 1 bottle of beer. But now, so we're right there. But this last one, I don't want it to print 0 bottles of beer. I want to take 1 down, pass around. No more bottles of beer on the wall. Maybe. I'm going to just do, let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this down here and just do if num bottles is greater than 0. Well, it would always be greater than 0. Well, not necessarily.
Well, that no bottles is a unique case. It makes sense to be outside the loop.
Yeah. I'm just, so there's there. And I just want to make sure something. All right. I'm just going to run this and see what happens. Just run it and see what happens. All right. So cool. We got 1 bottle of beer on the wall, and it's not printing that no. So yeah, Don, this should be outside of the loop. So we'll go ahead and do that. Also right here, line 6, let's just refactor this. What's another way I can decrement instead of doing num bottles equals num bottles minus 1?
Minus.
Yep. So decrementing by 1 is the same thing like as doing that. So num bottles minus is the same as that. All right, cool. So looks like we're almost there. Next, let's just go ahead and copy this over. This needs to be outside of the loop. And
Hey, Tom, you're decrementing twice in the statement. So on the edge case on the end, if you look at the second to last line, you have 0 bottles of beer because you've already decremented a number of bottles and you're doing it again in the string.
so in this string, oh, so yeah, let's see. Yep, so you can kind of see right there, good catch. So 5 bottles of beer, and then it decrements it by, awesome, good catch. So I don't even need to do that, right? Let's see, I'm gonna clear that. Let's just hurry up, or let's just fix this right here, console log. Oh, geez. Whoop.
How did you put the parentheses, the quotes around it in one shot?
Yep, good question. So if I do console, or if I, whatever I highlight like that, and if I do shift just one parentheses, it's going to add a closing bracket as well, a closing parentheses. So I just highlighted that entire line. I did shift open parentheses, and it automatically put a closing parentheses with that. And now it's still highlighted. Now I'm just doing shift and the quotes, and it automatically adds quotes around the entire sentence that I have highlighted.
That's
How
awesome.
did you, excuse me, how did you highlight the whole, the console log sentence?
Yep, good question. So I hold Command Shift, and that just highlights everything to the end of the current line. And now I press down, and then I can move left and right of what I want highlighted while holding the Shift key. So I'm holding the Shift key, and I'm highlighting into little ones, or one
Okay,
thing at a time. Cool. All right. So let's just see if this still works. So take one bottle, take one down, pass around, no more bottles of beer on the wall. All right, looks like it's working. All right, cool. So if I did it 99, clear the screen, I clear the terminal, run that. Just make sure everything's working. 99 or 39, 39, 38, 30. Okay, cool.
So if you run it with 10 bottles of beer, do you still want to buy 99 at the store?
So where does it say that? Let's see. Oh, right down here. Yep. So it looks like I have that hard coded. So you don't want to hard code that. So yep. John, you're exactly right. So if I run that again, so I started with 10, and down here, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a really lit weekend. I'm going to just go ahead and buy 99 more. So we can start. We can do some string interpolation with that. And we'll start where we'll want to buy what we started with. So we started with a num. We'll want to end. Oh gosh. We want to repurchase what we want again. So if I clear that, great. So I started with 10 right there, and I'm going to buy 10 more. Yeah, good catch. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I could have also, oh, go ahead.
I've got questions, but it's not about the 99 bottles. It's so after you you leave your file, how do you make it so it auto saves?
So that should be within the settings. So inside of VS Code, if I go to File, Preferences, Settings, it's going to turn on a bunch of these settings for how I want to format VS Code. And if I flip this, so in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little sheet that with an arrow that like flip it. So I can turn the settings into a JSON, JavaScript object notation. And it has a specific, let's actually come over here to Install Fest on week 1. So where is that? So right here, if you just copy that code or this JavaScript object notation into the settings, mine's a little bit different because I have additional settings, but right here, this specific line, files autosave on focus change, with that will autosave whatever file you were just on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep. So if I leave this file, so whatever I'm focused on it now, if I go to another file, this file is no longer focused, it will automatically save. Because a lot of problems, a lot of your issues is because, oh, I forgot to save the file. So we want to make sure you're saving the file automatically. You'd be surprised at how like you spend like a half hour and be like, why is this broken? It's like, oh, I didn't save the file.
Thanks. One more question too. What was that command you gave it to pop up the folder on the left-hand side of the VS Code?
So if I wanted to pop up like this one, so if I wanted to split the screen, is that what you're referring to?
No, not split the screen, but go back to what you just did, the where you hit the file.
Start?
Yes. Yep. So you get it there.
Yep. What did I do? So what's your question? Sorry.
What was that command you typed in the terminal to pop up the 99 bottles or the Oscar challenges on the in that Explorer tab?
Oh,
It was code -R.
dash R
Period.
period. Yep. So that's how you can just reopen whatever code you're in. So if I were to do that, it would literally just open 99 bottles in this VS Code window. Like right now I'm in Oscar challenges. So I'm actually technically within this directory is open in VS Code window. But yeah, good question. Cool. So now that I'm done writing my code, I'm going to want to submit my code. I can either create a branch, but just for all intensive purposes, I'm not going to create a branch for this code. I'm just going to push this up to my GitHub and then make a pull request. So does anybody, I guess we haven't covered it yet, but so I'm going to do git add period, git status, git commit. Don't worry about this right now. We're going to cover it in today's lecture. Git push origin master. So if you didn't submit your code yesterday, that's totally okay. We don't expect you to know this right now, but so what I just did, I git added all the files that changed, which was this 99 bottles file. So I added it to like, it's saying like, hey, are you sure you want to save this? We're going to add it to like a temporary holding, a staging area. And then this git commit message actually saves it to the Git repository on my local machine. I haven't pushed it up to GitHub yet. So git add and git commit. I've just created a new save point on my local machine of this code. This git push origin master actually pushes that code up to GitHub. So if I come over here, if I refresh this, you can kind of see right here, Tom's solution was committed 1 minute ago. Now I want to make a pull request. Where'd it go? Why isn't it?
Second from the top left.
Top left?
Yeah,
This
pull
thing?
request. When it says 99 bottles from your or Tom/Pete. This is blue line, top left. Right below. Up one more down. More down.
This one?
Very close.
Yeah. There's usually, I thought there, maybe they updated something. I thought there was like a button here I can do pull request, but disregard. So right here, I can create a new pull request. Yep, I want to, so now I'm in Oscar's 99 bottles. I'm right here, I'm requesting to pull Tom Preet's master branch of 99 bottles into Oscar Platoon's 99 bottles master branch. And you can kind of see where the changes are occurred. And I can go ahead and create a pull request. I can say Tom, instructor, solution. I can add reviewers if I wanted somebody to review it, but I'm just going to create that pull request. checking for merge conflicts, it's safe to merge. And now I can see everyone's pull request on here. Awesome. What questions do you have about anything?
When you type the get push origin master, what does including the word master do there?
So it specifically wants to push to this master branch. So it's whatever branch you kind of want to push to. So that's why I've always just included whatever branch I'm currently on. So if I was on like Tom's solution branch right here, I would have been good get push origin Tom's solution branch.
Doesn't it figure out what the origin was?
I've never done get push origin before, but I think I've seen somewhere in some documentation where if you just could do get push origin, it will just push to whatever branch you're currently on, I believe.
That's the instructions that Ankur provided.
Okay. Yeah. So either or is good. You can do it either which way you want.
So I have a question.
Yep.
With the get add dot, are we always going to want to be able to, are we always going to want to add every file?
Not necessarily. There might be other files that you don't want to include. In that case, you just include get add and then the file names of what you want to include.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And we'll cover that in today's lecture.
I've got a question just in general coding stuff. So how you coded this, like adding different parts within the console log, for me makes it a little bit harder to read, and I know a lot of that's preference as far as like, is it standard to try and make everything as small as possible, or is there some something to just making it easier to read, or like as far as industry is concerned, what's the preferred methodology? Try to make it concise or
easiest to read as long as it doesn't substantially sacrifice performance.
Okay. And how would you like looking at that compared to like my method for it was just doing a if else if statement with 4 branches. So if else, if else, if else. How would you, just looking at it now, compare speed with that versus this?
Well, they both be just, I think, constant time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it actually,
Or
not using the if else's and including the constants at the bottom, it takes up a few bytes more memory, but it's more efficient because you're not checking. And
yeah.
even if we broke out of the loop before we got to the 1 and included that down there as a constant, it would be, we wouldn't be doing those ternary compares in there if we're looking just for efficiency.
Yeah.
It's
Any other questions? Yep.
So say for instance, you already made that pull request, right? And you uploaded it to Oscar Platoon GitHub. Is there a way to modify your solution if you wanted to kind of pull it back down, maybe delete it or append it, whatever?
So if I already made this pull request, so it's right here, and if I made some changes, and if I'm on this same branch, if I make a change here and push it up like I did here, it will automatically update this pull request. So I wouldn't have to remake that pull request. It's all this would just automatically get updated. But if you wanted to like remove the pull request, you can always close it out, like just close the pull request and start over. Yeah. All right.
So the push origin master is gonna push your solution to your GitHub, the GitHub like registered on your computer.
Correct. Yep. It's going to push up my code from my local machine up to GitHub right here.